So amigos, it's your favorite illustrator and Transformers fan. And as you can see today, since I'm running a bit low on time, I decided to make a little metal model of my favorite horrible little man, Starscream, who I adore greatly. The kit's from Metal Earth. It's an intermediate kit, despite the fact I've never done this before, so we'll see how terribly that goes in a bit. The kit comes with two 4-page double spreads of very complex instructions, and then 3 metal sheets with parts that are connected to the metal sheet via little tabs. Since the pieces weren't labeled, I decided to label them myself by taking a quick picture, then using a pencil to label each back plate of metal. Some pieces couldn't be labeled because they were too textured, so I just wrote down the numbers on a piece of paper and then put them down so I could find them later. After that, I just started snipping out pieces. It was slow going at first. I'd cut off the tabs connecting the item, then get off any little metal bits by twisting, and then I was all set. By the way, I started using this jar to store my metal bits, and honestly, it's kind of satisfying. Listen to that. So I gathered all my pieces. Last piece. All the pieces are used in order, so pretty simple for me to know which pieces were coming up next. 2, 3, 5. Then started bending them using tweezers. I will admit my camera setup isn't the best. I'm sorry, I'll do better in a future video. I'm trying to acquire a camera, we'll see how it goes. But I'd bend pieces and then fit them together. Each piece came with these little tabs, so you'd bend the tab, stick them into the little holes on the corresponding piece, and then bend those tiny tabs, or twist them. Just do whatever so they don't come back out of the holes. This, on occasion, was a bit of a problem for me. I would lose track of what I was doing, and then end up closing up the metal piece so I couldn't get at the tabs with the tweezers, and then I just super glue them in place. So there's definitely a couple of areas on this model where Starscream's paint looks a little splotchy because of the super glue, but it's fine, it's free weathering. Megatron got his hands on the guy like 10 minutes earlier or something. Another area that I had a lot of trouble with is I would, on occasion, bend the metal piece the wrong way. The diagrams were not always very clear about which way you should be bending the pieces, so I'd bend them the wrong way, try to bend them back, and then the piece would break, and then I would have to like really delicately use tweezers to hold the piece in place while the super glue dried. So that wasn't fun, but as time went on, I got a lot better about that, and I didn't do it as much, thankfully. Ooh, if you look at the screen now, you'll see me fiddling with the hardest part, which was a hand. I had to bend each joint of both the inside and outside finger, and then connect them via a liner piece, like a glove. This was agony and suffering, but it was fine. I just put the Lou Burger celebrity song podcast thing on in the background, and just sort of zoned out to that. Oh, we're finally to his face. Look at his smug little face. You get to hear some genuine, unedited audio of when I dropped the tiniest piece in the set, which was his nose. No. God, pure agony. I'm putting some finishing touches on this bad boy. I tell you what, I kept doing pieces being like, what the heck is this? And then putting it together and being like, oh my god, that was an arm! So, for most of the piece, I had no idea what I was doing, but it came together a lot faster than I thought it would. It would have been probably significantly faster if I hadn't goofed with the super glue. And then here he is done! Look at this beautiful, horrible little man. And there's me. This was like 2 in the morning. Anyway, let's move on to the beauty shots. Uh-oh. What's this? A challenger approaching? I shouldn't even look at it. I've already spent too much time on this and I've got so many projects I need to do. 16 hours? But just one peek wouldn't hurt, would it? That's all from me this week. Stick around, because next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled, more artsy, creative content. But for those of you who stuck around, I hope you enjoyed this little interlude.